President Bola Tinubu dispatches former head of state General Abdulsalami Abubakar to Niamey, Niger for talks with the junta there, as former governor of Kano State Abdullahi Umar Ganduje is the new national chairman of the APC. But does this end the revolving doors that has plagued the ruling party? PDP shifts focus to November off-cycle governorship elections, inaugurates campaign councils for Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. Also, on political update today, CSOs give pointers to the key sectors of the economy in dire need of urgent interventions. We have these and more in a moment. We also have a guest. Stay tuned. President Bola Tinubu used the 12th National Executive Committee meeting of his party, the ruling All Progressives Congress, to re-echo his stance on the Nigerian project, the leadership role he expects his party to play in galvanizing the people towards a common course of national development.
President Bola Tinubu formally uniting with his party leaders and to address the National Executive Committee members for the first time since assumption of office. After the 2023 general elections, APC already home and dry with victory at the center, majority of the National Assembly and highest number among the state governors.
Thank you very much for all the hard work.
Appreciations to the party hierarchy as the president equally rejoices with all the election victors. But he recognizes that core politics is at rest, at least for now, and time to re-strategize for a stronger platform while also ensuring unity and stability among party members.
Winning election is just a step in the process. Good governance is another. We've gotten the trophy. The president is standing before you. But let's redirect this party. Let's show the rest of the country that we are a party united for a purpose, and that purpose, development, progress, and prosperity, will not forgive us if we fear of that path.
Time to leave party affairs to the National Working Committee. President Tinubu says his priority now is how to make Nigeria greater and a true leader on the continent, but not at the expense of the citizens.
The continent depends on Nigeria, and we have to show that leadership. But not at the expense of our joy, happiness, and good health. To really re-engineer the economic and politics of this country, we must find a way to satisfy the yearnings of the poor. And all the programs that we rolled out must work for the people and not punish the people. Mr. President,
the party's National Executive Committee appreciates President Tinubu for his leadership direction so far.
And from that 12-neck meeting, the immediate past governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, and Senator Surajuddin Ajibola Basiru have taken the oath of office as national chairman and national secretary of the All Progressives Congress. The new chairman has assured party members of his commitment to peace, reconciliation, and the strength in participatory processes in building a strong party.
Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje do solemnly and affirm.
Immediate past governor of Kano State taking oath of office as the 6th national chairman of the APC since its formation in 2013. In recent past, the governing APC has lost 6 members of its National Working Committee to voluntary resignation and appointments.
Important reforms will be carried out in the party in alignment with the current political landscape. This includes 1. Using higher technology in membership registration into our great party. To ensure functional party offices at donor, state, senatorial, local government, and ward levels. And 3, establishment of progressive institutes.
May I call on all members of the All Progressives Congress to remain steadfast as we strive to uphold the principles of democracy, inclusivity, and good governance.
Put implicit vote of confidence on the integrity of the last presidential election, and also the same confidence on the integrity of independent National Electoral Commission.
Article 13.3 of the APC Constitution has empowered the National Executive Committee to perform the functions of the National Convention, which is the highest decision-making organ of the party. And as a result, the 12th NEC meeting has empowered the National Working Committee, now under the chairmanship of Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, to fill the vacant positions, which include the Deputy National Chairman of the party, North, National Vice Chairman, Northwest of the party, National Women Leader of the party, and the National Legal Advisor. The 12th NEC meeting also approved the appointment of external auditors for the party. Meanwhile, the National Chairman Abdullahi Umar Ganduje immediately proceeded to the Buhari House National Secretariat of the party, where he engaged his colleagues, members of the National Working Committee, behind closed doors.
Joining us now via Zoom is a friend of the program, Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much again for, taking time to join us. Now, have we now seen the last of the swiveling chairs of the different chairmen shoved out of the door before their tenures were officially over in the ruling party?
I wish I could say yes, but in politics, like you said, it's a revolving door, it's a swivel chair, and you never can tell what happens in another 6 months or 1 year, given the fact that politics is a game of intrigues. Politics is a game of backstabbing, a game of interest. And if Ganduje's is no longer serving the interest of his paymasters, those who brought him into power, you may actually see his exits the same way. The immediate past chairman and secretary, talking of Senator Abdullahi Adamu and Senator Yola Omishore were shown the door. Interestingly, yesterday, the National Legal Advisor was also prevailed on to resign. The man came and wasn't, only God knows what offense he committed, but he was prevailed on to resign. So we now have about 6 positions. There's the death of the National Welfare Officer. There was also the Lukman Sali, who resigned recently. Ajaka resigned to go and join SDP for the gubernatorial election in Kogi State, and then the women leader, the women leader and the national chairman, the acting chairman, were appointed ministers. So 6 vacancies, 6 new faces. Well, I wish Abdullahi Ganduje the best of luck. It's a good
just let me butt in there. What should be the first things he will do, perhaps, to have a steadyship?
Well, I believe it's what is cut out for him. He has promised internal party democracy, and that is the way to go. He has also what I think should be paramount on his agenda is reconciliation, which Abdullahi Adamu failed to do. He needs to reconcile all the warring factions in the states where there are issues aftermath of the 2023 general elections. Quite a number of states are having factional or issues. There are intrigues. There are quite a number of restiveness across many of the state chapters in Kwara, in Ekiti, in several other places. Even in Oyo, you could see that the president chose someone who was in the Accord party as his presidential as his ministerial candidate. That's talking of Adebayo Adelabu. Instead of picking someone within the APC fold in Oyo State. And that's generated a lot of furore, it's generated a lot of bukus. So he needs to reconcile, Abdullahi Ganduje needs to reconcile all the warring factions across the state and even within the National Working Committee. He needs to carry his colleagues along. He needs to ensure accountability and transparency. What members of the National Working Committee wants to see is that they are consulted properly. I wrote in my column a couple of weeks ago that one of the nice things committed by Adamu Abdullahi was lack of consultation. You recall that Lukman Salihu, who himself later resigned, accused Adamu Abdullahi of running a one-man show. Part of the allegation was that they appointed external auditor to audit the account of the party. And when the external auditor even submitted its report, it was not subjected to scrutiny by the National Working Committee before it was forwarded to INEC. Yeah. And of course, there was allegation of mismanagement of funds. That 32 billion was realized.
We will go through this, because I wanted to see if I could take you on so many things, just like I promoted at the beginning. And I can see that I'm moving towards more than half of the program already. And there's an important aspect I'd like you to take. Let's move quickly to international diplomacy. We cannot ignore what is happening north of our border now in Nigeria. And President Tinubu on Thursday sent former head of state Salami Abubakar as envoy to Niamey. What approach should we take with the men in khaki in Niamey?
Diplomacy, diplomatic and sanctions, not military option. The military option should be kept as the very last resort. You could see that Niger shares border with Nigeria, and any attempt to wage war on the pushists or the coupists in Niger can backfire. Niger is facing insurgency the same way Nigeria is facing. And they are our brothers, and people have asked, why should we wage war against our brothers across the border? But it's wisdom for President Tinubu to have chosen the Sultan of Sokoto and the former head of state, Abdulsalami Abubakar, to go as well as someone from the ECOWAS Secretariat to go and discuss and dialogue with the pushists. Actually, it's a catch-22 situation we find ourselves, because if you want to respect the sovereignty of Niger and say, okay, the coupists can go ahead and run the country, you are indirectly encouraging other African countries to also follow suit. Because when people talk about disputed elections as part of the reason for coup plotting in Africa, disputed election happens in US. It happened in Brazil. That did not lead to the military takeover in those countries. And by the way, I have not seen any election that will not be disputed by the losers. So I feel that the president was spot on. He was on point to have chosen the option of diplomacy as well as economic sanctions over and above military option. Because as it were, we don't even have a standby force in West Africa. We do not have standby force in African Union, and even the United Nations that have peacekeeping missions is overstretched. I think there is ongoing peacekeeping mission in about 12 or 13 countries right now, and the resources are quite very, very limited. So I think it's best to explore the option of diplomacy while we tighten the nuts and bolts on economic sanctions, bilateral issues around no-fly zone, issues around energy, stopping electricity from being fed to Niger, issues around other economic sanctions that has been imposed.
I think you've made your point on that again, and so we can quickly move to the final one. In another 12 minutes or thereabout, the process of screening ministers will continue in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. What is your chat to them at this time, in view of the current realities across the country?
Well, interestingly, just to buttress my earlier point about political intrigues, I really felt for Dr. Miriam Shetty, whom we learned just a couple of hours ago that has been replaced with another candidate from Kano. And I congratulate Festus Keyamo, who has now been listed as the number 48 candidate, nominee rather, to be screened. I wish all the nominees best of luck. But as President Tinubu had said during the meeting at the APC, the NEC meeting of APC yesterday, the time for politicking has gone. The time for governance beckons, and these people should eschew corruption. They should eschew personal aggrandizement. This is a call to serve. And what I want the National Assembly to do is to be very objective in the screening exercise. Some of the nominees have some doubtful credentials. There are a couple of them that are alleged to have doctored their age or their certificate or do not have the requisite, academic qualifications. This should be verified before the final approval of their candidacy. I believe that what should have been done was to have these nominees go through security screening ahead of their appearance at the Senate chamber. But whichever way, we still have some few days before the inauguration. The most important thing is that they should know that this is a call to service and not to personal aggrandizement, not to corruptly enrich themselves, and that they should put in their best to ensure that they deliver this country from the economic morass and insecurity that the country has found itself.
Thank you very much, Dide Ojo, for your interventions today. Many thanks for spending this time with us. Moving on very quickly, President Bola Tinubu, as we said earlier, in his capacity as Chairman ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, has dispatched delegations to Niger and Libya with a mandate to expeditiously resolve the current political impasse in Niger. The action was in line with the resolution reached at the end of an extraordinary summit of ECOWAS held last weekend in Abuja.
Take all measures necessary to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger.
The time is fast running against Niger in the one-week ultimatum given by ECOWAS of a military junta. Some sanctions are already being enforced and more are looming on the country's forceful leaders. But for this situation, observers have described as delicate, a carrot and stick approach is in order. President Tinubu is therefore leveraging on the experience of these leaders, popularly known as peacemakers within Nigeria, as another option. So, the delegation to Niger, headed by former Nigerian head of state General Abdulsalami Abubakar and supported by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, and the ECOWAS Commission President Omar Ali Toure, got their brief from President Tinubu. The mandate is for them to engage all stakeholders robustly with a view to doing whatever it takes to ensure a conclusive and amicable resolution of the situation in Niger.
Well, we have just been given our marching orders to go to Niger and convey the feelings of our heads of states in the ECOWAS region that they are not happy with what has happened, and they gave them an ultimatum that the coup peace should desist from what they are doing and give back power to an elected president. And again, to make sure that this message is sent loud and clear to them.
Niger is metaphorically eating a potentially harmful insect. Their neighbors to the north, Libya and Algeria, are equally needed to caution them.
There are carefully calibrated measures They are not meant to be punitive. They are meant to really encourage the Niger authorities to rethink their position and retrace their steps. And they are escalating, sort of degree by degree, hoping always to find diplomatic solution. And that is the commitment of the ECOWAS heads of state. And that's why all these diplomatic activities are being redoubled apace. We hope to find that diplomatic solution. Nobody wants to go to war, and especially with neighborly, brotherly peoples across the border with whom we share common language, common culture, common religion. Yeah.
This is another effort by the ECOWAS to restore normalcy in Niger and for the overall peace and development of the sub-region.
And just before we go, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has inaugurated campaign councils for the November 11 governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. Certificates of return have also been presented to the party's governorship candidates.
The three PDP candidates for the governorship election are incumbent governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Douye Diri, who is seeking a second term, Senators Dino Melaye of Kogi and Samuel Anyanwu of Imo States. The PDP leadership is hopeful that the party will retain Bayelsa State in addition to reclaiming Imo and Kogi states. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke, on behalf of chairmen of the campaign councils, advocated the need for synergy to guarantee victory for the party.
When you vote PDP, you vote that development and progress.
The three governorship candidates called on the election management body, INEC, to play according to the rules of the game.
That concludes our political update for this week. We want to thank you for being a part of it. And of course, hopefully we'll be back on Tuesday for a fresher package. Between now and then, play your policies for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Enjoy your weekend.